Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock, and we are live. Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 7 o'clock. And we are live. Welcome to V-Talks. I'm your host, Veronica Brockwell. And Happy New Year. This is the first V-Talks of 2021. I took a couple of weeks off for the holidays, but now I'm back and we have a great new lineup for the next month. I'm so excited. 2021, I feel like is going to be better than 2020. And I think you all feel the same way. It's been a rough year, but I feel like things are on the upswing. And I have a lot of things to be grateful for because 2020, if it wasn't for the pandemic and it wasn't for 2020, I wouldn't have V-Talks more than likely, and I wouldn't have started my marketing company. So there were some pluses for me there. And I don't know, I just feel really good about 2021. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. And we're going to have a great show tonight. So the first show we're having is exciting because we have an actor on. And he's fresh off of his HBO pilot, which I'm hoping he'll talk a little bit about, even though he's not supposed to say a whole lot of details about it, but he's going to talk a little bit about that. But he's an actor, he's a teacher, he's a director, and I'm so excited for you to meet him. And his name is Jacob Sherburne, and I'm going to bring him onto the stream. Hi, Jacob.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Veronica.
How are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, I'm very excited to do this and a little nervous.
You're nervous?
Oh, well, yeah.
On the V-Talks?
Well, of course. Yeah. My mom could be listening.
I love the pandemic because people are nervous to be on the V-Talks because they haven't been working.
Yeah. I haven't said sentences to folks
Right.
in a little while.
Working, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you've been working, and I see we have matching gear.
Yes, yeah, I bought them specifically to match.
You did, and look,
yeah.
Right? Wait, I don't know if you can see mine on my screen.
I can't. Oh, you're so close. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, now I've.
There's the spit guard. There's the wind guard, folks.
Because it's windy in here.
It's windy.
I think I just messed up.
It is windy.
I think I messed up all our hard work in
our sound check.
In our sound check, yeah.
Great.
So I just want to dive right in because I'm very excited to hear about this HBO pilot.
Yeah.
Can you? And I know you said you can't talk a lot about it, but can you tell?
Right. Yeah, I don't want to get a call in the middle of it. Be like, you're fired.
Yeah.
So it's something that I thought wasn't going to happen because I had 3 rounds of auditions. So I was driving into Boston, driving into Boston and back for something called the Untitled Julia Child Project. Okay. So I'm driving into Boston.
And when you say that, is that the name, the Untitled?
No, it is. Sometimes they call it Julia, but they have not decided on a name. Okay. Maybe they have, and I'm not the first to know. They don't give me a call when they make decisions. So I was driving in, like 3 rounds of auditions. I got the part. It was like so exciting, and then I showed up. I found somewhere to park in the Seaport District, and then got into the hotel. And I know the actors. So I've been told that Joan Cusack's in the show. So I'm like, Joan Cusack's in this building. And I don't know other names, but we see BB Newirth's nameplate on the, like, at the table. And and me and the other, like, day player, like Boston area actors, like for local flavor and whatnot. are there sitting. So we're eating the best craft services, and craft services like what they serve on the set, like the food. The best craft services I've ever eaten in my life, like literally like a steak salad. We're just sitting there around a table, and then like all the guys with the camera equipment who don't care about us at all are over at the other table, and we're eating, and then we go into the room where we're going to do the read through for the pilot. It's the very first moment that we're going to be in touch with the script. The day players, the people that were cast and aren't necessarily going to continue on in the show.
So this is like first round.
This is, well, we already have the parts, but because it's the pilot, we don't know. No guarantees have been given to us.
A lot of people in our audience don't even understand how this works, and I think they just
I'm only like a month or two ahead of them.
You got the you got the part, so you just got the part, but that's not necessarily how it works.
Right. So let me explain that, so basically we move into the room and we see like, oh, this BB Newirth's nameplate, and there's no nameplate for Joan Cusack. We're looking around, but it says Sarah Lancashire, who's like, you've seen her on Netflix. You've seen her in movies. Okay, cool. And then a very upset production manager, like somebody who's kind of like in charge of the day, walks in looking very flustered and says, okay, we've been closed. This is not happening today because everything is shutting down. And that was day one of the shutdown for the quarantine. So yeah. And like we've got, so these same sound and camera guys who have, their job is to be around actors, so they don't care about any of us. And they're like, it's literally like the gravedigger scene from Hamlet, where they're like taking apart the camera, and they don't have British accents, but like that's how they feel in my head. Like this not gonna happen. Like maybe it'll happen again in a few months, but it's probably not gonna be this show, So they're like literally. We hear them talking, and we're all like signing our paperwork because that's something you should do in case the show comes back. We're all just signing our paperwork, and they're like, okay, I hope you enjoyed lunch. We'll validate your parking. So I left the room and got in my car and sat in my car for a little bit thinking, okay, this is the greatest opportunity of my life. And it's just not going to happen. And then I just drove home.
Was this March?
This was March. Yeah, I don't remember the exact date. But then a couple of months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I got an email just saying, hey, Julia's back on, or the Untitled Julia Child Project is back on, which I totally made my peace with it not happening. But they figured out a very rigorous schedule and protocols to film a pilot during COVID. And I could talk about that, but so basically a pilot is the first episode of a TV show, so named because it's the first one on air, hence pilot. However, so the pilot has been purchased. It was written by the guy that wrote The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which I know I love. And I don't know exactly who's in it. And I see it's Sarah Lancashire and BB Newirth and David Hyde Pierce. And our first rehearsal that we have for the shoot, I see Isabella Rossellini is on the call. I was like, that's Isabella Rossellini. So it's just like, and like the girl that, do you watch The Office?
Yeah.
The girl who later seasons, like after Michael's gone, she tries to get Jim to cheat on Pam, like in the hotel when they're on a trip.
I know.
Yeah. So that girl, I'm like, that's that girl. And they're like, it's your line now, Jacob. I'm like, and David Hyde Pierce, who like
Frasier.
Who's like
Frasier,
I learned.
And BB is Cheers.
Right, exactly.
And Chicago.
And also Frasier. So like people that I learned my comedy timing from, like watching when I was almost too young to even watch Frasier. I'm sitting there watching it. And like, I'm like, wow, can I be in this moment? Can I say these whatever 3 lines that I have in this pilot and just be a collaborator with them? Because there's no way mythically I can totally breathe in this moment. So I'm on a Zoom call with them, and hold on. I just gotta. I'm still there. Okay, good. Whew, I panicked for a second. Screen went.
No, you're good.
Okay,
Hey,
great.
it's live.
Whew.
It's live. You know, stuff happens.
Yes.
Don't you even worry about it.
Okay, good. Jillian, you can't call me right now. Great. So the pilot. We're at this point where we filmed it, and I can talk about that. But right now, what we're doing, me and all the big stars in the show are us and our agents and their managers and whatever are all in the same boat where we don't know if it's going to get picked up. So they could pick.
So you filmed it?
We have filmed it. It's probably in the can now. They've probably totally edited it. It's this gorgeous pilot. I can't talk about like the content of it, but I love it. I love it so much.
Filmed here.
Filmed in so it picks up on Julia Child's life when she is is just gaining national attention on television. She's already written her cookbooks, so it's not like Julia versus Julia. That's what I call the movie, but it's Julie and Julia. The Julia Child movie that Meryl Streep was in.
Yes.
It picks up like kind of where that leaves off.
Okay.
It's right when she gets national attention on WGBH, this chauvinist, dry WGBH show, where he like we're having a girl on who writes cookbooks, you know, and I mean I can say this part because this has actually happened. She takes out a hot plate on this book review show. Like she's brought her cookbook onto a show that you know, maybe Orson Welles would have been on this really dry, stuffy, like Charlie Rose type book review show where the guy, you know, is used to talking to great artists of literature, and he has this woman on in the with a cookbook, and he's not thinking it's going to be very serious television, and that's our job. I play like the director of WGBH.
Okay.
So I'm like not super psyched that this gal and also to further drive home the sexist point of it, like this older gal, and like, you know, Julia Child was not like classically attractive in that time period. She was not seen as like anything that anybody would want to see on TV.
Well, yeah, she was your mom or, you know, your grandma, like
right.
She just
and
had
men
that persona. She didn't.
And that wasn't really put on television then in a leading role kind of way. And she literally takes out a hot plate on that. This actually happened. She took out a hot plate on the show, put it down, searched around on her hands and knees for an outlet. So like her butt is showing towards the camera, which at the time was like pornographic. And she plugs in the hot plate and makes an omelet on live television. And at first they're like, "What are you doing?" But the nation responded to her. And because she had this sort of public zeitgeist attention, they're like, "Oh, let's give this lady a show." So it's really deep. There's a pilot dramatization of it, and they did beautiful work. It was such an honor to just be there and let alone be a part of it. Let alone be like they applauded me when I had my last shot. Like to get to be of a place of importance in that realm was like all I could do to just like keep breathing, you know, like just be like, forget about whether I deserve this or not. It's not about that or not. Who's to say? It's just like, can I live in this? Can I appreciate this for what it is? That's what I owe to it. That's what I owe to the people that are still trying for this. So we shot it. They shot for over a month. I shot my stuff in one long day. I had my first trailer. That was cool. And because of COVID, I was like weighted on hand and foot because
Oh
they're
yeah.
bringing like the special actors with lines and stuff
Well,
um,
yeah. Well,
get
we could
brought
talk about
food.
that. That's a big deal when you have lines.
Right. It's a totally
Yeah.
different like thing. Like
Oh
I've
yeah.
been
You're on,
the
you've like you're
person.
on a different level when you have the lines.
Right. So
Mhm.
like we were treated, I mean, they're treated very preciously anyway, but like I had all my food like brought to me in this little trailer because especially because they're trying to keep us separate from one another just for cleanliness' sake. So it was especially we were treated like I was probably treated in the way that like a star of a TV show would be treated just because of
Because of
the careful
COVID.
protocols because they don't want to get shut down. So
Sure.
they've
Yeah.
spent all this money and they've brought all this energy and fortunately right into Woburn, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I hope I can say that. In a big like warehouse and they were shooting in Cambridge. This is what I was supposed to be telling you. It we were in Cambridge and surrounding areas of Massachusetts because her TV show started. They were filming it in Cambridge, I believe, is the reason why she was spending her time in Cambridge then at that point. And that's crazy to me. That's like Cambridge is where I did a show for years for a decade called the Donkey Show at the ART, and I would be so the streets where she was, where this actress is playing Julia Child, walking down the streets. These are the streets that I was, carrying my employee drink at the end of the night, leaving the show at 2:30 a.m., having talked to the people who were sweeping up the glitter and stuff, picking glitter off of myself, like in the middle of Harvard Square. Probably occasionally what I would do in Harvard Square is I jog to try to beat the bus home because I lived in Brighton. So like
Oh yeah.
Harvard Square is like where I've done acting in this way that feels like sometimes it really felt like work. And like to know that we were shooting in this place where I was just like grinding it out and making a living. And getting to be a part of it was really cool. And so I'm lucky regardless. Like if it doesn't go, then it will still have been transformative. And that's how I'm probably talking to myself more than I'm talking to anybody else right now. But we're hoping that it gets picked up and it gets picked up to film a season. I'm hoping that they like the pilot and they don't decide to reshoot it. I'm hoping that if they reshoot it or when they're shooting future episodes, they just decide to make me part of it. It would make sense that I'm part of it, but I've been given no guarantee. So who
Yeah.
knows?
I'm excited that you're actually working during the pandemic because I want to
Yes.
talk to you about that, like how the industry has changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that, I mean, you've told us a little bit about that, but you're a lifelong actor, right?
Yeah. I mean, I like
So,
as, mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
pretty
so
much.
yeah. So, like, tell me about a little bit about acting and then your career and then how things have changed, with the pandemic.
Um, you want to talk about acting now or the change in pandemic? Which
First, we're going to talk about your career
okay,
and
great.
like acting and normal acting and how it usually works. And
S-
then
Great.
yeah.
So I had been doing high school plays. Finally, I was like doing sports and finally I made the jump. Like, okay, I don't care what the football team says about me. I'm going to do anything goes. I'm going to do Jekyll and Hyde. Let's do this. And that was the first place where I was like, oh, I'm funny. Oh,
You
like
are funny. You're a funny guy.
thanks.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is me. Like I know it's cliche, but it's cliches are there for a reason. Like it I discovered like, oh, this is who authentically I am. Um this person that I'm seeing doing this. So then I went to BC to do acting in English barely. And then just kind of auditioned and I auditioned at the ART, which is, like what one of the like them or the Huntington is the top theater in Boston, and they send shows to Broadway with some frequency. Um, I got a job understudying a show at the ART called the Donkey Show. It's like a Night's Dream disco. It's like a um, uh, fully musically soaked Shakespeare play. Uh, just closed. Like I was on and off in it for about 10 years.
Right.
Eventually I became like the regular guy in it. Was doing that weekends until 2 or 3 a.m. Um, and that was kind of the thing that I was holding on to for a long time, just auditioning and auditioning and auditioning. And I felt pretty, I would feel pretty small sometimes because going into auditions, actually literally, because there's this, if there's any chance he's listening, Mark Linehan, I would literally feel very small next to this guy because he's like six everything, like 6'7", and he could tap dance. And I'd see him in every callback, and he would almost always get the part. So like Boston theater scene feels really small sometimes, and I got the sense, as I've gotten the sense a lot in my life, like I feel like I'm just on the outside of this, and I don't feel like I totally belong in this, and I'm almost forcing myself into this, and that's how I felt like in a lot of my life. So probably a lot of it I'm making up, but for a long time I was just auditioning for musicals and plays in the Boston area. And I'd have a good amount of success, but I never felt like I was like part of the team. So then I went to grad school down in Florida at the FSU Oslo Conservatory. That's what it's called. 3-year program where you're kind of paying your way. Like it's free because one of the things you're doing is understudying, and providing manpower and woman power and people power to a repertory company, meaning a company that puts on a lot of plays at once. So our conservatory program made that happen there. So it's the kind of place where they they rip out your heart out of your chest, and hopefully what they do is they do a bit of putting your heart back in and zipping you up back up, as I think I heard Mandy Patinkin say, where they kind of really break you down. And one thing that taught me is to sort of make peace with this idea of type, because like I'll go into a room and I'll see guys, I'm like, that guy's more handsome than me, or oh, clearly this is for like the fat guy and I'm not going to get this. Or like this is for a 40-year-old, and like I'm good. Like you can't make it this far as I have and not just make peace with the fact that I'm like, okay, I'm very good at this. Like you have to believe that. I have to believe that, and I do.
Yeah.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Going into rooms where I was feeling like I wasn't at peace with how I was being seen. And where I've had the most success is making peace with exactly how I think I am perceived as I walk into a room, and the kinds of things that speak to my soul, so that I'm able to aim myself in that direction versus constantly just driving upstream to try to get parts that I think I would like to do, but that I'm very unlikely to get.
Yeah, that's interesting that you
Yeah.
say that, because, I think we all like see ourselves in a certain way. And
Yeah.
I've taken some acting classes. I'm not some big actress, but I've taken acting classes. I've done
Got
some
the
little
cheekbones.
things. Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Sure. Awesome. But I found that to be, I would see myself in a certain way, but I don't think that the parts that I auditioned for saw me in the same way.
And it's also weird because
Or
TV's
like,
different.
I want this part, but that's not really probably the best part for me.
Yeah.
What I
And it's
desire to play.
especially tough for women too. Like
Oh, gosh.
like it doesn't even compare. What I've
We
had to
talked
suffer
about
through
the
doesn't even
age
compare.
thing. We talked about the age thing, like trying
Right.
to find the age that you should play versus
Right.
the age that you are.
Because also my guess is that if I saw you in person, like I'd be like, oh man, like okay, this is gonna sound again like I'm,
Careful.
but this
Careful.
is this is gonna sound again like I'm buttering your bread, but I'm like, oh, I'd be like, oh, what a beautiful woman, you know. But oh, she could. I would see her doing anything, playing any age part. But on TV, you're probably going in for okay, oh, like their mom's good looking, you know, is like what, like it's like going in for mom,
Yeah,
is, but that's not a that
but
calling somebody.
how competitive is that space?
Well,
Oh,
I don't know. I don't
it's
know.
huge.
Well, we're in Boston though. We're in Boston, and between Boston and Providence. We're not in New York, sure, but I don't know. You could weasel
I
your
don't
way in.
know.
I don't know. That's another
I don't know.
conversation.
I didn't do well in Boston with it. I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
I gave up too soon.
Yeah, or you just hadn't met me. I don't know.
Is that it? Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. So now I'm doing detox in my living room. So
Yes.
that works. That
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Lovely.
I can't get fired from this job. I can't get rejected.
Yeah,
I
it would
get
be hard.
rejected. I guess no one can watch. I
Yeah.
suppose.
What's funny is that I could
But I
get
can
fired
still
from
do
this
it.
show.
I can still do my show even if nobody watches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. um,
Yeah.
right. Right. And now, exactly. 'Cause, like,
Yes.
same thing for me. I'm getting called in for a lot of the time for like 40-year-olds, 45-year-olds. I'm
And you're
31.
young.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so sometimes I'll get it, but that's not a problem to me, except for the fact that actual 40-year-olds are walking in to be seen. So it's like, why would you do this? Like on stage, oh, I'll do that till the cows come home, till they come right home. But on TV, you're going to be right up, close to the camera.
Yeah.
They know what you are. And I'm not 40. People smell it on me. You're not 40. So you really have to make peace with exactly how you seem and find your wiggle room in there. And happily, the way things are moving, even though it feels like a real dumpster fire right now,
Yeah.
there are certain bells that can't be unrung. And more types of humans are being seen on TV, and not only are being seen on TV, but are being given emotions on TV, and are writing TV, and are producing. It's so as we move forward, hopefully we float away from this whole like I only can see like beautiful tan Caucasians as these romantic leads, you know, like hopefully we're heading in a direction where the reality of, oh, all humans can feel love, all humans can achieve, all humans can be in charge. Um, um, we're heading in a direction where casting is becoming more human. And that's not because corporations are becoming good, but because people are waking up a bit. Americans are waking up a bit to sexism, racism, whatever it is. And so corporations are like, oh, we can make money. Like, oh, we can make money off of Black Panther. You know, oh, we didn't know we could do that. So it's not that companies are evil. It's just that they're not moral. They're amoral. So they're following the trajectory of the. It's to me in a very unhopeful time. I find a lot of hope in that. Clearly, casting pools and casting viewpoints and producers and writers and all the people that work on art are becoming more human shaped and less like just one specific type. Anyway, that's that. I get on a lot of soapboxes, but that's one of them.
So, just from your experience, and you just did this pilot.
Yeah.
You're working. What is happening in the industry right now because of COVID? Is production way down? Has it just changed? Is there a lot happening? Like what have you seen and what have you heard?
Well, the
Obviously, this
Certainly,
pilot was already kind of in the works,
yeah.
you know.
Yes, but I mean, so the restaurant industry has been affected maybe like 19%, which feels like a lot. But in comparison, performing arts have been affected by like 52%. Have been
Because of the theater venues and things
exactly
like that,
because of the
right?
in person, like breathing the same air, like
Yes.
the intake of breaths together is an essential element to what we do.
Right.
Um, and it's incontrovertibly that way. Um, but so what I was feeling like sort of outside the party looking in, hands on the glass, um, about the Boston theater scene. And then I decided to like, you know what? I'm going to aim myself towards TV and commercials because I realized that casting agencies in town, and I'm happy to talk about those very specifically with anybody.
Yeah.
Boston Casting, Slate
Yeah.
Casting, Shotgun Casting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of that happening. And so
Yeah.
like without Boston Casting, there are no Mark Wahlberg movies. Without Slate Casting, there are no like local bank commercials. Without and then there's like all their casting companies that do everything in between. Um, it's a good market. And
I took
let's
classes.
get you
I
some
took
pictures.
Yeah,
Watch your head in.
I took classes. Yeah, I took classes with Boston Casting, but
So
it's a
that's
hike.
great,
It was a
knowledge
hike.
wise,
It was a hike
but
for me.
those aren't the people necessarily that you want to be taking classes with. And I can talk about that in just a little bit. But what
Yeah.
I want to just, I just want to, I'll circle back to that. I just want to finish
Yeah.
this point that like, um, I found, I found where I was having success, um, being, film and like TV auditions for commercials and TV. And I made that what I started doing. Um, like vocationally, going to BC, I heard a lot of talk about vocation. It's do you like it or like do you love it? And then there's one other question. And do you love it? Are you good at it? Does society need you to do it? I certainly feel like society needs me to do it, but that I'll talk about when I talk about acting. Um, I love it, yes. And are you good at it? I don't know. I don't know how good of a musical theater actor was, but I know that I'm killing the game as a commercial artist, as somebody that walks in and figures out a funny way to sell insurance. Um, uh,
What commercials have you been in?
Gosh, I'm the spokesman for GameSense .com. It's the Mass Gaming Commission's. It's literally GameSenseMA.com. It's like because they were making MGM Springfield, they they were like we need to make it seem like we care about this is well, I don't know. I already did the job. They're not going to hire me again. We need to make it seem like we care whether people die from gambling debts. So
Oh,
they made
okay.
this website
Yeah.
giving gambling tips, but it's clearly a farce. That's why I kind of feel comfortable saying it. I know I'm exaggerating it to make a point.
Yes.
Casino owners, I know that you're not all that bad as what I just said. But so doing that. I'm in a commercial for Woodchuck cider for a bank in Maine. That's cool. The first time I had somebody walk up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I saw you. I was watching TV in Maine and I saw you." That was cool. Woodchuck hard cider. There's one. Gosh, there's a.
Well, you've
I'm
been doing
doing.
this a long time, so probably.
But actually, the commercials. It's really been like 2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Draft site is like a new draft site is a new like CAD architectural drawing program that I'm doing voiceovers for and like playing the face of the brand, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's a lot of stuff that you may never see because you're not watching these specific targeted YouTube videos. Because a lot of it is targeted pre-video ads on YouTube, trying to do something funny so that people watch that ad before they watch their like SNL video or like their how to build a cat
Yeah.
house, a house for a cat, not an old timey brothel, a cat house, a birdhouse is what I was looking for. Um,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah, there's
targeted
so
YouTube
many
ads.
spaces that you
Hmm.
can work now, way more than there were. And I feel like the pandemic has opened up even more opportunity for
Exactly.
everyone.
Exactly.
Like
That
me and the Vtox. What is
exactly
this?
in this realm where people are.
Yeah.
So this is why I mean we need to fund the arts, because
Yeah.
this is what everybody has turned to in our moment, our in our long moment of desperation. But yeah,
I know.
everybody and their mother um, has a streaming network now, has a streaming channel now. You know, Hulu and everything like Hulu. Um, HBO is expanding to HBO Max. Um, a lot of tech content is being created. A lot of content is being demanded. Um, so that also means that not all of it's going to be good, but it's going to happen, and they'll pay me to do it, so I'll do it. Um,
Yay.
right.
You
So
guys
in
need to
that,
work. Yeah.
because I wound up aiming myself away from the theater because I couldn't. I didn't feel like I was getting. I was like sweating over stuff that I shouldn't have been sweating about. So I was like, I'm going to aim myself in this direction. And so I've been lucky enough in the pandemic to sort of, my career has continued to build during this time,
That's
um,
great.
getting commercials and getting this TV show, because we still need to make this stuff.
I'm so
I'm
glad.
not an
I'm
essential
so
worker, but
glad
it
to
feels
hear
essential.
this.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
doing, and a lot of auditions have moved um, online, so it's less of a, like, it's self tapes. Like you make a tape of yourself and send it in. So a lot of that has become um, more accessible. So it's breaking down walls of privilege as well, because you don't need to be able to get off work and travel to New York
Right.
just to bomb an audition, get a parking ticket, and have to get your car out of the impound and drive back and be late for work. Um, like it doesn't
So
have to be that.
so is this the end of the cold read?
Um,
Because that's the worst.
oh, I love it. I'm like a goblin in that's
Oh,
I
you like
love.
that?
I'm like, well, I teach English in Milton, and I've taught at ORR as well. So
Yeah, we'll
like
talk about
that's
that
just
too.
something that I'm unfairly, like, that's like my skill set. So I don't mind it. I kind of
I
love it.
can't see. It's
I know
so.
that is a
We
problem. If
have
you
we talked
cannot
about
see,
that.
yes, yes, you got the astigmatism.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
It's
Um,
not
yeah,
fair.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you could be a model. You don't have to say much for that.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not
Okay.
even buttering your. Oh,
Oh,
come
here
on.
we go. You're so funny. You're great. I love you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
there are virtual versions of it. Virtual theater, I have not been super psyched about. Although I did love working on the I'm the director of drama at ORR. We had done a virtual production of the Spoon River anthology, that we're actually going to be premiering the edited version. So it's like this nice, clean 55-minute version of it, that is going to, um, donations or ticket sales for that go to the club and go to a theater that a former student of mine who passed away. He had he had attended a theater that did wonderful work with him even during the pandemic. So that at the ORR drama website, that is going to be streaming, premiering this weekend and
Okay.
next. That'll be that was a virtual piece of theater that I loved working on,
Yeah.
with me and the kids, at ORR. They did got beautiful work. Like, man, I was afraid because a lot of very musically talented folks were leaving, at the end of last year, and they didn't get to finish their musical Guys and Dolls, and that was very sad. We're like, what's going to happen? Um, but gosh, there is a creative, exciting group of motivated kids there now. I'm excited to get to keep working with them.
And yeah, and before you sign off, I want to get that up on the ticker so people can go
Thanks.
and check that out. I would love to do that,
Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, of
definitely. Yeah,
course. I'm a
yeah.
big supporter of the arts.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and their art worth checking out too. They're like
Oh
it's
yeah.
quite a program. Paul Sardinia had built it, and I'm happy to like carry it on in my own way.
I'm
Um,
so yeah. So you are the director, the drama director for
mhm.
that local high school.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's like it ranges up to about 120 kids in the club, so it's like a it's like a seventh of the school. Um, and it's like me
Wow.
up on the stage, like shouting at them, like "Get on stage!" Um,
Yeah,
um,
how is that during like how do you do that now? How is
well, I'll tell
because
you,
you're in masks and
we were rehearsing literally on the Marion Bandstand. It was going to be really cool, this production.
oh yeah.
I really want to do something on the bandstand. It's this gorgeous theatrical space. We
Yeah.
were
It really
rehearsing
is.
there,
Yeah.
and I had the experience of doing a socially distant production of Good People at the Marion Arts Center this past summer. So I had a bit of a pedigree. I was probably maybe one of the leading world experts at it at the time of doing pandemic theater, because who else is trying to do this? Um, um, but so we were trying to build a distant version of this show. So I picked this show that had a that was monologue based, so kids didn't need to be close to each other. And I had basically a student and an adult there at all times saying, "Jacob, that's too close. You need to like back them up from each other." I'm like, "Okay, you're right, fine."
Oh
So
no.
kind of figuring out how to do it in a safe way, and then we wound up having to go virtual. So our last week was just spent like reblocking it virtually. Um,
And you guys are you using StreamYard?
Yeah, we use
Yeah.
StreamYard, this platform.
Platform. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, tonight's gonna be no sweat. Um,
Great. Thank you.
yeah.
It was so nice. You knew what you were doing. It was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Well, okay. All right. Also
Okay.
you.
Oh, well, not really.
Okay. All right.
I've
You
had lots
enjoying
of
this, folks?
I
Um,
know. I've had lots of fumbles. They've watched me fumble a lot. So,
oh, okay. Well,
yes.
you'll have to direct me to that specific content. But
Yes.
um, so I'm not generally a big fan of virtual theater because it's like air breath is an essential
Yeah.
part of it. That's why I wanted to do it live anyway,
Yeah.
even though it's enormously hard for high school students to get together and do a production, a live production on a platform that's only meant to have tops 10 people on it at a time. It's this is meant for what we're doing here, but I was doing a production with like 40 kids, just shuffling them on and off. So we had that feeling of like live, oh, what's going to happen? But I didn't want to charge money for it other than like, asking for donations for the Break a Leg Theater and for or our drama. Because it just, I don't know, theater, if you're watching something on your computer, I think it should have a high production value. So we're going to charge starting this weekend, because I've like edited it all together, and it's like it clips along very nicely. And it's the action is clearer. So we wound up taking donations for it, but I'm not a huge fan of virtual theater, because it's like, oh, haven't you heard about TV? That's TV. Just do TV. Like this is a good thing to do virtually, because
It
it's
is.
like it's just us talking. That's
We're just chatting. There's
right,
nothing, yeah. It's
right. But
different.
it's like, don't show me, like, unless you have enormously high production value. I don't want to see a theater online, um, uh, unless it's like an edited version of it later on. But so I guess what I'm saying is, uh, art has digital art like TV, like movies, and anything like that. Also like TikToks and Snapchats, like things like that. Mediums that work online and that have figured out who they are. Those I've sort of leaned into, and getting into that is that's the direction my career has taken, like prior to the pandemic. And so I've been lucky in that regard, that I just kind of hit it right, in that I'm not totally out of work as an artist right now.
And you're very talented, and that certainly helps.
Thank
So
you.
you are, you're very entertaining. We actually talked for an hour beforehand and
Yeah.
got to know each other a little bit better, and he just had me in stitches. So you're very funny, very quick, very bright. Yeah,
Thank you.
your future is very, very big.
Thank you, Veronica.
Um, so I have somebody that wants to ask you a question.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm going to bring her onto the screen. This is Carrie, and she has a question.
Carrie
for
Hayes?
me. It is Carrie.
Oh my gosh, what is it? Is she gonna ask me if I've been doing my squats?
I know. Well,
Oh,
everybody's
no.
kind of
The
used to Carrie.
SmackDown.
Oh no.
Carrie comes on every week, so
I gotta get closer. I'm too little.
She's like, I have a question. This is for real. She's gonna ask you a for real question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you led into it, Jacob, perfectly.
Perfect.
When you talked about new opportunities.
Yeah.
Because print is becoming more inclusive. So for me as a fitness person.
You say print is becoming more inclusive?
No, well, print work and commercial.
Oh, I see what you mean. As like a model.
Fitness in general.
Yes.
I was thinking about, I was in Dick's the other day, and they had wonderful models of full-figured women
Mm-hmm.
in
Yes.
workout outfits.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about, you said, oh, these big businesses have finally realized there's other humans
Right.
other than
Or-
the 6 foot
100
tall,
pound
120
models.
pound.
Let's not give them too much credit. They've realized that they can make money off
Well,
of other
that's,
humans.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Like having real people in their
Right.
ads, because most of us are, like it's
Mhm.
unrealistic.
Well, present company excluded.
It's unrealistic,
I love opening like so I have like Title IX, Athleta, certain catalogs that come.
Yeah.
That I like really enjoy looking at, and I've always thought, shoot, all the people in them, they're unattainable. They don't look like me. They don't look like Veronica. They don't look like my weight loss challenge girls. They don't look like the people who are trying to get fit. They just look like a bunch of fit, fake people.
Right.
So what I was excited about when you said that, I've always thought I would love to represent the 50-year-old woman or 55-year-old woman, where I'm headed in March, and show this is what a 55-year-old woman can be. Right. And I feel like there's a new market for that because of what you've mentioned.
So what can Carrie do?
How would I take that excitement and what I'm seeing, and how could I say, wow, I'd love to take K-Fit or Carrie the Human to a space where other women would look up to me or be excited about who I am.
Sort of like basically like breaking into the business basics kind of things.
I don't know that I don't know that a commercial, but like a print ad. I don't know if you know.
Right.
How
No, totally. So Veronica and I were talking beforehand about the props matter. Like whatever, green screen behind me, everything. My ring light over here.
I have my ring light on, so I think
perfect. We all have ring lights.
Look at this.
Great. We should all make TikToks. Great.
Right.
My sweater that looks casual but is more expensive than the other sweaters that I have.
Of course.
Like that kind of.
So
basically,
what I'm saying is, I had some really nice photos taken with V Media. I paid for some really, we did a really nice shoot. So I have some nice still.
I think I told you to do that. I don't know if it was me, but I was like, Carrie, get some pictures.
No, I have some really nice photography. So do you need to still compile, say a portfolio, or is that all now just virtual?
Yeah, like is the comp
s-
card still in existence? Like that's probably old school.
do you mean by comp card, is that like the size card, or is that something
Yeah,
No,
else?
I mean, like,
yeah.
if you were
Well,
gonna
that
try
has
to
like
go
multiple
and
pics
compete
of
for
you
some kind of
on
a,
card. See, it's
I don't
probably
know,
old
like a
school. I haven't
commercial
done
or
it in a long time.
something, do you show up?
So
Like, does it all show up? Like you said, like you seem like you're
yeah,
sending stuff. You don't have to be there.
right. So okay. Uh Fortunately, you can do it in a very frugal way if folks are because, like, I mean, this is being able to have the luxury to have the things that make you look like a serious person is it's a privileged concept. It's but there are ways to do it to sort of just with gusto,
Mm-hmm.
make it look like, oh, maybe she's a big deal already. I don't know. Pictures, like spending some money on pictures, but it not necessarily. It doesn't have to be from like a $15,000 studio in New York. It really doesn't. It could be with
No, we,
right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm more
yeah,
also talking about just like everybody out
yeah.
listening.
Don't overdo it.
Right. So like you can overdo it if you're lucky enough to be able to do that, but if you find basically you want to find stuff. No, I can talk more about, honestly, probably Veronica can talk could talk more about what you need. Like I can talk about like what an actor needs is a headshot that's like from here up and looks like the way that you think you're supposed to look. Like I have stuff that looks serious and blue collar. I look like I could work on a line cook, like I'm a line cook.
Yep.
Um, uh, Stuff that looks like maybe I'm like a junior lawyer, and stuff that looks like I'm a dad and kind of funny. Like thinking about with the pictures, thinking about the stories that you're going to be asked to tell. So that's more for actors, but not that photos don't have stories to them, but I know a little
Sure.
more about like not so much it's about how can I look as like fierce and snatched and as beautiful or handsome as is possible. That's
Yeah.
not that's not
Well, maybe super fit,
unless
and then
that's who you are.
maybe, but not overplay the super fit, like approachable.
Oh well, but Carrie, I mean, you've got the back muscles of a dolphin, so
Well, we can
maybe you
cover
want to
those
be
up.
leaning
No,
into.
we can cover those
No,
up.
but
No, but Carrie, what I'm
good.
saying, sorry, let me get this out though, that you want to be leaning into like you appear that way, but there are people that don't look like you, and that's they should be
Is that
leaning
a
into what
benefit?
that is a benefit for you.
Oh,
So I know you want to, but I'm just talking in a
okay.
general way. Like
Yeah.
you should be aiming for like looking like show people your muscles, show people your body. Like I'm a 50-year-old person who has deltoids, who has serious sex appeal. Like lean into that and don't apologize about it. You see, Veronica won't let us compliment her, but you need to
I
be
will.
honest with yourself. Right. Lean into
Veronica, we have those
exactly
pictures.
what you are. I know that I'm not like I can play the Ryan Gosling character on stage maybe, but on TV they're not going to let me do that yet until they know me better. It's
Sure.
going to be like Gosling if like he did a lot of character work and put on some weight or something like that.
So I feel like what I'll take away is like own my strengths.
Exactly. Know what you're selling. Know what the simplest version of what you project is. Because also, like you're like the thing that you have. Let's talk about you specifically. That's like different than I know. Like the Payo. Like there's somebody whose voice is built a little bit more like Veronica's. It's a little higher up. It's a little peppier, and you're like let's do this. Like it's almost like it's not an S&M video, but it's like this woman who's going to take charge. I want to be taken charge of by my hot mom Carrie, like that's who like think about what is the fantasy version of you? What is the farthest forward version of you? I know I'm funny, silly, handsome dad. Like that's what I know that I
Yeah.
am. And so I lean into that in my pictures, and I lean into it with material. I do not try to seem like something other than that. I know that that's in me, but the initial getting in the door is being myself, is being clearly how I'm seeing myself. And you can activate that in a way that is not inauthentic and not limiting, in a way that there's nothing. I should not be embarrassed to be seen as a dad, or as like a best friend, or like the cousin who is trying but who dies at the beginning. Like that's a beautiful person to be. That person is beautiful. I'm not Romeo. I'm Mercutio. Like to lean into your type and find the beauty there, find the satisfaction there. And that's what it's not that you're always going to do that, but that's what's going to get you hired. So with pictures and with a website, it costs somewhere between $50 and $200 a year, $50 and $300 a year to have a website. I really think it's worth the investment.
I already have it.
Yeah, I know. I'm also talking to the people.
And everyone should get one.
We all have websites, yes. But like,
yes, it's really
present
exciting.
it very clearly. Present yourself very clearly, and don't apologize. Like, seem like it's very cute that Veronica goes like, "Oh, well, thank you, you're nice." But like, wouldn't you rather see her go, like, she knows, she like, no, or maybe that's what it is. It's like, no, stop it. Maybe that's the thing for you, like what do you do? What do you bring to the space that other humans will go, I see myself in that, or I see my family in that. What can they connect to on a very human level? And that's what's very human about types. I know it's like, we see it as super limiting and super limiting as actors. Now, I'm not talking as you'd be more like in like modeling and in fitness modeling and in like making like workout. Well, actually, so like a workout video, that's a character. Like I'd be very interested to see like a Carrie workout video. It's like, shut up, let's get working. Like let's see that.
We're already on it.
Let's do that. And it's
people
like,
say you're very serious.
Yes.
We're all over Carrie workout videos.
Yeah.
We've been working through that process.
Like not so far that you're like spanking the people that are working on the background, but like almost. Like lean into that full idea. Like I want mom to take charge. Like mama in the like almost sort of a daddy kind of thing. Like, oh, daddy. Like that's who you are, Carrie. You're very in charge.
I'm gonna work on my dolphin back muscles.
No, they're already there. You're done. Stop. You're gonna fly away.
So Jacob, she's got her website.
She's
got her pictures. She knows who she is. She is workout Carrie. Now what? How does she get auditions? What happens next?
So, there are people that are worth emailing. You go on bostoncasting.com, you go on Slate Casting, you go on Carrie, you specific. I love Carrie. Like I'm like trying to answer for everybody. And Carrie's like, what should I do?
She's taking notes.
Always.
Carrie, Maggie Casting, Model Club.
MAGGIE?
Yep. Maggie Casting, Model Club. Go on those websites with your pictures, and also a video. Like for me, it's a reel, but for you, like a 2-minute video of you leading a class in a well-lit room.
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah. Like, but the thing is, and there's rules to like, but the rules are there for the weirdos that they want to keep out of the room. Sorry to use such a reductive word like weirdos, but like people that are there just to be weird or to work out their issues rather than are there to show their weirdness, like artistically. The rules are there to keep people from making the auditioners horribly uncomfortable. So if I will walk into a room and I'll do stuff that I know that I'm not really supposed to do because it's like, hey, I'm getting the job. Like I want it, like, feel free to cheat in a way. Like I bring a lot of production value to my self-taped videos. And that's just like through iMovie, where I know other people are auditioning by just filming it, in front of in front of their white wall.
Yeah.
They're not doing any internal cuts or anything. They're just filming it and sending it because they don't want to be weird. But the thing is, it's getting me jobs because I'm weird, but like I know
B
how to.
Media can help me be weird.
Exactly. Like break the rules as long as it's legal. Like do it.
They go left, you go right.
Exactly. Like it's like right now,
out.
like we were talking about Veronica. Like, what do you see in Veronica? Is like this beautiful woman, but it's also the back of her couch. Like what? Veronica is like what is the brand here? It's like the brand is almost like, oh right, hot people have living rooms, you know, like. And
she wants to keep you.
Look at her. No. But so what I'm saying, I know I'm like, I hope people aren't like, oh man, he's really laying it on thick. But it like this is the truth that Veronica is leaning into. She's like, it could be tempting to be like, okay, go the like yoga pants mom route of like being very spiritual and love and light and go in that direction, or going in the direction of like, well, you know what, I'm from Mattapoisett, I'm from right near New Beige, kid, and like this is my kitchen, like let's talk, you know, like you could go in that direction. But Veronica's kind of like towing the line in this way that necessarily you don't see online. So it's like that's Veronica's brand, like not quite on one side or the other. So
that's great advice. I think right there, that's great advice.
Yeah, lean into your own thing and find how it fits in some way that's relatable to like what you see out there, but also trust that you're going to bring the spark to it.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and just like
I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. And I the other thing that I just want to make sure that I say is like, I want, once you're in the room and once you're working on it, I know a lot of people are thinking, I got to have energy. I got energy all the time. But the most creative you are is when you're relaxed and when you are in the present moment and you're not, I mean, the future,
We're trying harder on that. Not
show,
to
yeah, right.
Get so invested.
Show me what
I'm like, don't put a script in front of you, because then you just focus on getting the script right.
And eventually, Carrie, I'd imagine that that's something that you'll do, that you'll be able to do. But Carrie, you teach classes. Those are scripts. Just teach a class.
That's what I've tried now. I try to get away from all the bullet points and just really come from Carrie.
Right, but it's because you're a master of it rather than like some people need, like I am a master of working with a script. Like that's my thing. And so like leaning into your thing, like leaning away from the thing that makes
motivating and you know, bringing out your best self and like, you know, getting excited to share what I love with everybody.
Exactly, yeah. And so that something about that calm and that falling in love with the moment, and it can be hard to do that. Sometimes it's like, I don't feel in love with the moment. Like look at the president, look at what's happening in my own life. Like I haven't left my couch in 2 days. Like it's, the moment sucks, but the moment is what's there, because the future, I mean, show me the future. Like everybody's worried about the future in American culture, especially, but and we're always thinking about the next gig, but it's, you got to code switch. I'm not so much speaking to you, Carrie, more just like people that are trying to break in the room, have it be about the moment, because I'm a big
believer in the present, and it's taken a while to feel that way.
Oh, I definitely see that.
Think about yesterday and tomorrow and
right. Yeah, the future is something made up by your imagination based upon experience that you've had, and the past is something made up by your memory that nobody else is thinking about other than you.
That's a good message, Jacob, like for 2021. Like be in the present, because so many of us have to shift. So we would honor ourselves just to be in the moment.
And I think too, you know,
but V, you got to take me out, because I'm at 1% and I'm going to die.
All right, fine. We don't want that. Bye, honey.
She's so authentic. Don't die, although we all will. We all will die.
Thank you for coming on tonight. I really
Absolutely. I couldn't miss it.
I know.
Because I've
I know.
kicked Jacob's butt.
She brings it. She
Yes,
brings it
yes.
every
Carrie has
week.
trained me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I
funny.
used that 4x12 thing like for not like four
The
sets of
octagon.
reps. 4 sets, exactly. 4 sets of 12 reps. Yes,
Yes,
I use
sir.
that. Yes, yeah.
All right,
Well,
Yeah.
keep on
Carrie.
charging,
I
Jacob.
will.
I'll
I
see you
will.
tomorrow,
See
sweetie.
you again soon.
Bye.
I'm
All
so
right,
glad you were
bye.
here.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Christy. Oh, okay. Wow. Hey there. All right.
Hi.
Now we're back.
I hope
that was a lot of fun, right?
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. It put me such at ease to know that
Do you
that
see my
Carrie was in here.
couch? You see the back of my couch?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't mean it's just like it's something different about seeing the back of a couch than the front of a couch. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
you get a real
But
front of
then
the couch face.
there's the fireplace.
Oh yes, it's very very
But
well appointed.
my head is in the way.
Yeah, but it's a good head.
Oh, it's a good head in front of the fireplace.
Yeah, you know it. Yes,
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah. You're in a front of a TJ Maxx or in front of a Talbot's, let's say, or like Crate and Barrel.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm.
Yeah. No,
I'm
but
bumping up against my ignorance.
That's very good advice is being in the moment because you can get in your own head, especially when you're auditioning.
Yeah, right.
And there's just
But
it's very nerve-wracking and scary and all
and
these
what
things.
they're looking for. Like, yes, it's also valuable for no reason. Like to like literally to get kind of Buddhist about it, to die as you live is like is the best way, the most freeing way to live, the most joyful way. But in a very like Western business goal oriented way, being in the moment is what more often than not gets me the job, because people aren't going to remember that like, oh, he said the line that I wrote. Well, they will, but the thing that they're really gonna remember is the fact that like the room felt like magic for 90 seconds when Jacob was in here, because I was there with what was happening. And that's what I know is my skill, but also my skill as an auditioner is to walk in with having done the work, but to just let it rip once I'm in the room and not be some grounded spiritual version of myself, but to just be there in the mud and the muck of right now, is helpful, is not only helpful to me philosophically and as a father and as a teacher, but in the room it's the best way to be. I know a lot of folks that psych themselves up, and that has its place, especially in like musicals and stuff where you have to be jumping around. But most of the time, that's not where you need to come from. Is not a place of like, being totally psyched. It's not. My acting teacher used to say, it is better to be tired than wired. Yeah.
Jacob, you're also an acting coach, right?
Yeah.
So with someone like Carrie, who could probably benefit from some classes, we could send her to Boston Casting, but you actually also give instruction probably too online, Zoom.
Yes. Yeah. Well, definitely what I would like for somebody like Carrie, who's like coming with a very particular skill set, and she's like she will do well if she gets comfortable. And part of that is just demystifying it. Like I can get mystical, I can get mystical like real hard. I think that's probably obvious about me. But the best thing to do for somebody that doesn't feel like an actor or a performer or a model trying to break into that kind of thing is to set up just a fail-safe system for like, if you're feeling this way, this is what you should do for 5 minutes to warm up. If you're feeling this way, this is what you should do for 5 minutes to focus yourself. And then if you have a script, these are the rules of what you should do to figure out how to do this the best. It's not like, yes, I've gone to school and I value my education highly, and I could teach a year-long class or a 4-year-long class on acting and we could get a lot out of it. But the shorter, the bullet points are valuable too. Bullet points being like, if you're looking at a script in front of you,
Like a cold read?
Like a cold read,
Okay.
or something you prep for, which
Okay.
is honestly more what I encounter far more often. Something that they gave me like 2 days prior or a few hours prior. Find the words that are supposed to be put in lights, like
Yes.
the words that you want to put on the marquee. Find those words and make those words your religion. Like really hit those words, and figure out who you are, in a way that hits those, that makes hitting those words easy. And so words and lights, figuring out something that I call antitheses. It's not just me that calls it antitheses. Antitheses meaning two opposite ideas. In a sentence, the way that English is constructed, it's usually about opposing ideas. I'm a father of two. It helps you figure out what word to stress in it. What am I saying? Am I saying that I'm a father versus a mother? Or am I saying that I'm a father of two versus a father of one? Figure out what idea is being presented in the sentence and let that be your guide as to what word to stress. I'm a father of two. Maybe it's a whole long thing.
Or
I'm a
it could
father
be,
of two.
I'm a father of two.
I'm a father of two. Exactly.
Yeah.
So figuring out what the story is, what these antitheses are, what are the ideas that are being presented, what is being said is not true, and what is being said is true. Using that to figure out stress words and what words to put in lights. And then the other step is to really invest in that personally. And either that's both with your own personal skill as like a creative person, but also by asking these questions, which I call like the 4 W's. Who are you talking to? Where are you? Why are you talking? Like, what just happened that is causing you to say, you know what, I got to talk about this? And what do you want overall as a person? That last one is the most hippy dippy one. It's like, overall in this story, what does this person want? And what would be what would make that the most interesting to watch? So, but the first 3 questions will really be there for you. Who are you talking to? What just happened? Who are you talking to? Why, i.e., what just happened that made you say this? And where are you? That's very important, because if the scene is supposed to be in a restaurant and you're acting like it's in your bedroom alone with one other person, the read is going to be weird, and they're going to be like, that was weird, but I don't know why. So little like exercises, tricks that help you get on your way into performing like a reliable system. And I'm chock full of them, but I do that kind of thing either through my website, jacobsherburne.com, or if people want to email me. Oh yes, thank you. There he is right there. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're good at this. Though not that comma after www. The period. The astigmatism is working against you.
Is it?
It is. It's not a comma, folks. It's what you know.
All right, wait.
Oh boy, yeah. Get those glasses on. I'm like, look how fierce your brows are. Oh my goodness. Also,
People know.
People know. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't see it. I told you I can't see.
I know, that's why I'm saying it. But the other thing is, where I've gotten a lot of my clients, other than like through like schools that I teach at, is through thumbtack.com, which is another great thing if you're an artist. Thumbtack.com, like the thing that you push into a board. It's a great site for anybody it's like, I put myself on there as an acting teacher, a public speaking teacher, a voiceover teacher. So but it's not just for teachers. It's for, it's a lot of like lesson-based stuff, but it also could be, sorry, I don't know all the other things that it could be because I'm on there just to teach. But it's like a way for people to find other people. So I'm on there as well, or people can reach me directly at my website. There's like a contact me page. Just make it easy to get in touch with you, you know?
Yeah. So if somebody wants acting lessons, they
Mhm.
go on jacobsherburne.com.
Yeah.
And there is a link for that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, basically, they would just go on there and email me because that's my acting website. I should develop a teaching website, but although the acting website also kind of helps me always because people go on and go, oh, cool, this guy, he seems like a big deal, you know.
You are a big deal.
Oh, thanks. But it's good to seem like one also.
It is. We talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think you're a big deal, everybody else is gonna think you're a big deal.
Okay, unless yeah, so whether it's like acting theory or it's like just how to nail an audition, working on acting songs,
Yeah.
stage combat. Gosh, I'd love to have a stage combat student. I love like uh fighting with broadswords and knives and stuff like that. That's like as a what's the word? Like a hefty bodied male actor in Boston with a beard. I've been asked a lot of times to wield weapons. So that's something that I also teach. But yeah. But I like to just like build a program with people.
That's great. Well, you've
Yeah.
done a great job with the OR Drama Club, and I'm very much looking forward to that production. And if you could maybe shoot me a link to how
Yes.
people can see that when I share the video after we're done.
Definitely,
I'll
yeah.
share it. I'll put a link so people can watch the production.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully
Yeah.
donate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would
Thank
be
you.
great. The kids would really appreciate it too, you know.
Yeah. And hey, if anybody's out there casting TV commercials, I'm available.
Right. And so is Carrie.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, she's so great, and she's like she is fit
Right.
too. Like she's a great trainer. I think I might have like another class left with her. I'd love to do that.
I don't know. I work out with her all the time, and I'm just like,
Yeah, but you can't. The nice thing about working out with Carrie is like among other things is that I know like okay, like I'm not going to look like she looks. And that's fine. Like
I don't have the discipline on the food end of it, right? So like,
yeah, I can't even imagine.
I work out with her a
Yeah.
lot, but I like to have a cocktail or two or
Yeah.
wine, and then
Oh God.
my diet isn't horrible, but it's not that regimented. So I think that might be part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right.
I'm
It's okay.
30%.
I like having a fit friend. It makes it fun, and it motivates me, right? So
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
she does it great. I'm proud of her. Like I just
Mhm.
think it's very cool.
Yeah, it's so tempting to compete, but it's not. It will not bring me the happiness that I'm looking for. So so it's like good to like, can I just come here? Like quite often I'll say like, as an actor, the actors in a play are like, we are the high priestesses or high priests of loneliness or whatever we're talking about at the time, and the people out here are our congregation. Can I just same thing for Carrie and the fitness of the human body. Can I go to her and just sort of like be in a prayerful mood? Can I act like I'm taking a walk with God? Like, can I be there with her and just be a disciple? And can that be enough?
That's what I am.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
disciple.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a disciple who's like 30% potatoes. So it's not.
I show up, and she'll tell you I am there.
Great.
Yeah,
I am not always, so she may tell you that as well.
It's all
Yeah.
right. It's COVID. You have that excuse.
Oh yes, I do have that excuse.
I am really, thank you so much. You have been just a wonderful guest. You've been just so much fun. You've given us lots of great information. You've entertained us, and I'm grateful for you. So
thank you. Gosh, I'm grateful for you and for the people listening. I hope there's more than 8 of them. Great.
There will be a lot. I told you.
Great. I'm sorry. I'm not looking at figures. I don't know.
Don't. Some watch later. Yeah.
Cool.
They
Cool.
watch later because people get nervous that you're going to ask them a question or something.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this recently, and she said that she doesn't always watch live because she's nervous someone will ask her something and
Wow.
call her out. You know how sometimes you're on Facebook Lives and people are like, "Hey, Cindy, hi,
Yes,
Cindy."
yes.
And then if you're afraid, like if you get nervous and have anxiety, you're like, "They are watching," you know. So
the idea of being afraid of people paying attention to me is as foreign as Neptune to me.
yeah,
Like,
I know you
it's
love
so hard for me to understand. I'm like,
Right.
you don't want every, because like part of it, like I've got an extremified version of like this belief that we all have to some degree that like we really are the only real person in the world and everyone else is a manifestation of us. So I'm like,
Okay.
hello, me in other clothes. But in a way, we that's also hopefully I'm trying to give myself the out there by not seeming like a megalomaniac right at the end of it. In a way, we all are. In a way, it's true because we all are. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm saying this, but like we all are the same, and we're just wearing different outfits. So, but like it's not all just me. Gosh, nobody is on here hoping that I'm going to say this, but I believe that.
Yes.
And for me, that
So
philosophy
we're the
makes it
same?
easier to
Did
act.
you just say we're the same?
Yeah,
Did you say,
and
yeah.
and part of it, it's part of the reason why this philosophy stays alive in my life so much is that it makes it easier professionally for me. It makes it easier to show up to teaching, especially when I was teaching like at a pretty tough place in New Bedford, and I was like, how do I just? There's not enough Dunkin' Donuts in the world to get me there feeling good. But that's not the fault of anyone. One person or thing or anything, but also like as an actor, thinking about going into the room with compassion, thinking, what are they doing right now? What are the people in that room that I think of as like the people who are here to judge me? What are their worries right now? What is their relationship to their parents right now? What is like they want me to do well when I walk in. They're my fans. They're not hoping that I'm going to fail. And if they are, I really don't want this job. And also the same thing goes for characters. Like I'm not Hamlet, but I might as well be, in that like we're all one little story about just acting. I used to think that to be the brilliant actor that I am, I just need to like totally change the role into being like a Jacob Sherburne original production of it. But it's things that people have been passed down. It's special not because you're bringing something finally right to it. It's special because human life, and now most of the human beings that have ever existed on the planet, of the very infinitesimally small percentage of those human lives, I belong to the very small group of those that are actually alive right now. And I'm here to bear witness to what it is, the tradition of human emotion and human art. And like, I'm here to walk in the shoes of this role that has been played by great men and women and people. And it's not, my job is not to create something totally new. It's rather to step into the river and let myself float down it, rather than fording myself against the current to try to create something amazing. The world is already amazing. There's nothing new under the sun. How deeply can you tap into the moment that exists? Because it's like, that's where God, or that's where the universe, or that's where just the fact that like I'm a crazy swarm of molecules. Like I'm a beehive of molecules, and they've all just decided to be Jacob. Like that's crazy. And they're aware of themselves, but like that's true of all of us. And I know I'm getting really kooky, but like,
No, I
hey,
agree
it's
with
true.
that.
It's true. So there is a memory that our species carries and that our planet carries. And why not in our lives tap into that? Because we'll never know the answers. But why not find a pursuit that for you that puts you closer to the simplicity, to the simple beauty of the earth? And that for me is like, I see that I'm good at acting, and that acting is something that I can do to sort of venerate the condition of existence, whatever the particulars are of that. But I know I'm not going to find out what they are. I just know that, like, how can I celebrate them most purely? And for me, that's performing, and that's teaching.
And thank you for doing that. And thank you for entertaining us. And thank you for teaching our children.
Oh, you're welcome. You're most welcome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Veronica.
And good luck. Send me that link.
I will.
We
Yes.
can get that going with OR. And then if you would like to learn more about Jacob, please go to jacobsherburne.com. Not with the comma, but with the period. www.
I'm such a
I
jerk.
can't see, but you get it.
Oh.
Yes, go to his website and you'll have all the information on all the projects that he's working on, and again, acting lessons and everything else. Jacob.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
And we should. I'd love to meet you in person sometime. Let's do that.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. With all our mutual friends.
We
it's
have
so
mutual
weird.
friends. We can make that happen. Hopefully we will be able to do that soon. You know?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for having me.
All right.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Jacob. Take care.
Good
All
night.
right. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again on V Talks, our first show of 2021. That was a whole lot of fun with Jacob. We also have next week the Love Doctor. Andrew Aaron is going to be here, and he is going to be talking about the state of romantic non-communication. Andrew is actually going to be a regular on our show every month. He will be here the second Tuesday of each month talking about relationships. So that should be really a great show. Again, he's been on before, and it's always a lively one. We'll bring on our panel. We'll ask lots of questions. And then we have a very exciting guest the week after, which is, pardon me, I gotta read this, it's a little dark, January 19th. We're going to have radio host, author, television producer, and paranormal researcher, Tim Weisberg. So he will be joining us on V-Talks on the 19th. So thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit my new YouTube channel. I just set that up last week. I would appreciate you going on there and subscribing. That would be awesome because we need some love over there. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.